Hello fellow boomers, Dimitri here, back for another video. Technically, if like me you grew up in the 80s and 90s, we're Gen Xers, but that just doesn't roll off the tongue and doesn't make for good memes.
You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Also like me, you probably have a bunch of physical photo family albums stashed in a drawer somewhere, and you can't even remember the last time you tortured a guest by making them flip through them. Today I'll show you how to digitize and organize your physical photo albums and drag your butts into the 21st century so you can finally join Zoomers and Alphas in their Insta stories. Bussin' no cap. Am I doing this right?
How do you do, fellow kids?
And now a sponsor spot. You see, back in the olden days, before Al Gore invented the internet,
I took the initiative in creating the internet.
Cell phones didn't take photos. In fact, we had no cell phones.
No!
If we wanted to capture a moment in time, so to speak, it was a long and arduous process. We had to load rolls of film into our analog cameras, then, only after a couple of dozen shots, without any previews of any kind mind you, rewind the film back into the cartridge, then we'd take rolls of used film into processing, and days or maybe even weeks later, we got physical printouts back, containing every single photo that we took. We'd have to sift through those stacks to filter out blurry, improperly exposed, or just plain bad photos, stick the best one into thick albums,
Oh, come on, this is fun, right? Isn't this fun?
and hide them away, most likely never to be seen again. Rinse and repeat after every vacation or event. Now in the current year, even the cheapest cell phones take photos that are good enough to view on small screens. Online sharing sites like Instagram and Pinterest are primarily how people view photos anyway. Viewing and sharing photos become digital first, and physical, well, almost never. Aside from some party tricks or rented video booths at weddings, people hardly ever print out their photos anymore. Social media on small screens is how we view and share images these days. Even the professional event photographers usually deliver their work mostly online, with printouts reserved for very few large format portraits.
Oh, wow. God. Where the hell am I?
But we're not talking about weddings or galleries here. We're trying to modernize our old dusty albums that, instead of being often revisited cherished memories, just sit there, forgotten, taking up storage space. Not to mention the fact that physical photographs degrade over time. As they age, the paper they're printed on begins to suffer from discoloration and other wear and tear such as fading. Those memories, though, shouldn't fade away just because they aren't in a format that is easily viewed. One of the very few regrets my parents have about our immigration from Ukraine in the early 90s
Back in the USSR!
is not bringing more photographs with them. I have maybe a dozen pictures of my young self, and even fewer of my grandparents. Those precious memories are now gone forever, and I would hate for the same thing to happen to albums that I have yet to digitize. So let's get to it. You can digitize photos by either doing it yourself or by hiring somebody else to do it for you. For a DIY approach, you buy a half-decent scanner, install some software on your computer, and then slowly but surely go through every one of your photos, scanning and tagging it. I'm not gonna lie, it's quite a long process, and it does require an initial investment of around $300, which is the cost of the scanner. Hiring out is faster and easier. There are many online services that offer scanning of photographs, as well as other old media formats like photo negatives and VHS tapes. They have you mail in the pictures, they scan them, and then they either send you back a thumb drive or an email with a link where you can download the resulting files. These services usually charge either per single photo or for a batch of photos. For example, let's say that we have 10 albums that we'd like to digitize, and let's say that on average each album has 100 4x6-inch photos. So that's around 1,000 total photographs. Let's check one website for their pricing. ScanMyPhotos.com looks like it has good online reviews. That is, if you can even trust one of those anymore. Let's check it out. Services. Looks like they have a bundle, 250 photos for $50. Okay, let's check this one out. Upload service. They give us 1 year of access. Okay. Email address. Let's give them a fake email. They do provide some options. Let's read about them. Express scanning, special privileges, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's basically a skip the line kind of a thing. We're not interested. These photos have been waiting for decades. They can wait a few more weeks. Scan and order. Group your pictures, index cards. Okay, yeah, that seems useful. If you pre-sort your photos, for example, you went to an event and you sort them together in one place and then put some sort of index card with the name and the date of the event, they will scan those index cards in and then scan the photos so that later on it will be easier for you to organize them. So that's useful. Fix and enhance.
Enhance. Enhance.
Face detection, sharper images, remove tint, restore color vibrancy. Definitely, we will be selecting this one. Photo index book. I don't think we're gonna go for index book. It costs $37. No. Image rotation. Yeah, we're definitely gonna go for this one because in case they accidentally scan one of the images upside down, we want them to fix it rather than use some kind of a photo editing software to do it on our end afterwards. Return signature confirmation. This one is really up to you. I wouldn't select it. It's up to you. 600 DPI scanning upgrade. Oh, I see. So the default price is 300 DPI. Yeah, we're definitely gonna choose the 600 DPI because it gives us better quality images. Let's choose what we said. We want the 600 DPI, we want image rotation, we want fix and enhance, and we want scan and order. And we have 1,000 photos, so we need 4 of these sampler things. Out. Alright, so our subtotal is $370. They will be adding tax, and that is based on wherever you live. I figure another 10%, so maybe another 30 bucks, which brings us to 400. Plus, it looks like we are going to have to pay for shipping ourselves. I figure another 50 bucks, 450. Okay, let's see what else they have. Individual photo scanning. We're gonna select the exact same options. 5 days is more than enough. We are choosing 600 DPI resolution. We do want scan and order, fix and restore, and image rotation. Back of the napkin, we are doing 45 cents per scan, plus 9 cents for scan and order, plus 9 cents for fix and restore, and 10 cents for rotation. 73 cents times 1,000 photos divided by 100 to get to dollars. That doesn't look right. $730? I guess if you have less than 250 photos and you don't want to pay 50 bucks, let's see what else they have. What is photo scanning box? They have a sale going right now. It's 1,800 pictures, so that's twice as many as we priced out originally. Let's choose the same options: scan and order, fix, restore, image rotation, add to cart. Alright, $486 plus tax, which would take us to around 500 something. So in this one, shipping is included. We're at maybe $550. If you had over 1,500 photos you needed to scan, it would probably be worth it to choose this option. Now, I have one major problem with this approach: privacy. All of these services will swear up and down that your privacy is their #1 concern. Whether to believe them or not, I leave it up to you to read through 90 pages of their end-user license agreements written in undecipherable legalese. Are they selling images as training data to AI companies? Who knows? And if not them, what about the owner that buys them next? Even if they legitimately take privacy seriously, there is always a non-zero chance of them leaking the data in a security breach or a hack.
I'm getting hacked!
Putting that can of worms aside for now, at least we have a baseline, a price, what it would cost us if we were to ship out our photos to be scanned by somebody else. Now let's price out doing our own scanning. Like I said before, there is an upfront cost of about $300 for a scanner. I recommend the Epson Perfection V600 photo scanner. It's what I've used and it works quite well. It has drivers for all major operating systems like Windows and Mac and even Linux. Obviously you need a computer to control the scanner and save the images to, but you don't need a powerful PC. Anything from the past decade or even older will work as long as it has a free USB port and enough storage space for photos. To keep the comparison fair, we are going to have to pay ourselves an hourly wage. Because hey, our time isn't free either. Let's call it $20 an hour, seems fair. We're going to have to take each photograph out of its plastic sleeve before scanning and put it back afterwards. But since we agreed to pre-sort our photos for the online service too, I'm gonna call this time a wash. I will only count the time taken for scanning and post-processing of the images. Once you have the scanner plugged into power, connect it to your computer and power it on. It will spend a few seconds preparing itself. It will go through preparations A through G. Now we need to perform a final preparation H.
What?
Downloading drivers for our operating system from the manufacturer's website. For my specific scanner, I will go to epson.com/support. Then I will find my scanner. Here it is, V600 Photo. My OS is Windows 11. Then the drivers, I'll download the latest one. It looks like it includes the scanning utility. Now I will open the file to install the drivers and just follow the on-screen installation prompts. Once the installation completes successfully, it's usually a good idea to restart your computer.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
I will now run the Epson scan utility and allow it to detect the scanner. It's time to configure the options. Most scanners can also be used on other things such as documents and film negatives. So it's very important to dial in the settings, particularly for photos. We are going to make sure the mode is set to photo mode. Document source is scanner glass. Document type is reflective. Image type, we're going to leave it 24-bit color. We're going to bump up resolution to 600 dpi. And we're going to change scanning quality to high. Also, while we're on here, we're gonna change where our scans are saved. So we're gonna click on the folder drop down, pick select, and then choose where we're gonna save it. Scanner, photos, and click OK. Now under the advanced settings, I'm going to choose middle for unsharp mask. This will increase the sharpness of the scans. Color restoration we're going to set to on. We're going to leave backlight correction and descreening as off. And we're going to turn on dust removal and set it to middle. Now under scan settings, I'm going to click the drop down, select save current settings, give it a name, photos for example, and click OK. This will ensure that these settings are set as default for when we do our actual photo scans. We're ready to scan now. Let's grab some photos. Ah, that's a baby me. That's a kid me with my kid friend. That's a teenage me. This photo, that one is interesting. This photo was taken in 1981. You see how it's all yellowish? Well, it didn't used to be this way. This is exactly what fading and discoloration looks like. Now, some photos will last longer than others, but they all will eventually succumb to the same fate. So let's find something a little more recent. This album has our Jamaica vacation from '99. Yeah, in fact, this is the New Year celebration. So let me just grab the first 4 photos. Now we're gonna lift up the lid of the scanner and wipe the glass with the microfiber cloth. It's recommended to do this often to keep the glass clean so that your scans are also clean. Now we're gonna place the photos face down on the glass into the corners in the 2x2 pattern. Now this only works because these photos are 4 by 6 inches in size. 5 by 7s will not fit this way, so you would have to do them kind of like this. So you would have to do only 3 at a time. But since we're doing 4 by 6s, this will work just fine. Just make sure to leave gaps, that's very important later on. Now we're carefully closing the lid, making sure that the photos don't move, and it's ready to go. Back on the Epson Scan 2 utility, I will click the preview button. The scanner will sing me the song of its people. And very quickly it will present me with this view. As you can see, it is smart enough to identify that there were 4 photos on the glass because of those gaps that we left between them. It is not, however, smart enough to recognize that some of these photos were scanned in upside down and some are supposed to be in landscape orientation instead of portrait. To fix that, we're going to select the incorrectly scanned photos and click the rotate button a few times until the images are previewed properly. At this point, we can click the scan button and wait until the scanning process completes. We're back. It took about a minute to scan the 4 images with the options we selected. Immediately after it finishes the scan, the Windows Explorer will open up to the folder where your images are saved. Let's preview them. Looks good to me. Once we finish scanning all the photos from a given event, or however we have them organized in the albums, maybe by month or by year, we should tag them with the proper creation date. Otherwise, whatever service we upload them to will think that they were taken today and sort them incorrectly. The easiest way to tag images in Windows 11 is with the built-in File Explorer feature. You select all the images in a group that you want to tag, right-click, go to Properties, and then under Details, you can change the date taken. In our example, it was 01/01/1999. Then we can click Apply and OK to close out the dialog. If you don't remember the exact date a photo was taken, the first of the month and year will work fine. Now if we upload the photos, they will get sorted correctly. On other operating systems, the step may be different and most likely will require additional software that allows for editing image metadata. By the way, I'm not counting this time spent tagging against our labor. This is something that we'd have to do even if we send photos out to be scanned. That's the reason we were picking the scan in order option, to make this exercise easier. When you're done scanning and tagging each photo, it's up to you what you want to do with the physical albums. Personally, I'm not nostalgic enough to keep them. I'd rather reclaim the storage space they used to take up. What's our final cost then? Let's say that it takes 3 minutes to preview and scan each group of 4 photographs. We're going to have to do this 1000 photos divided by 4 photos in each group. That's 250 times. We're gonna multiply it by 3 minutes. That gives us 750 minutes. Divide by 60, so that's about 12.5 hours. We're paying ourselves $20 per hour, so that's times 20, which gives us about $250 of our own time. Plus the $300, which takes us to about $550 all in. That is definitely more than $450 we'd spend over at scanmyphotos.com. But we can always recoup some of our costs by selling the scanner on eBay or Facebook Marketplace once we're completely done with it. Assuming we can sell it for around $250, that brings us down to $300, which is $150 savings over the website. More importantly though, we are in full control over the entire scanning process. We can bump up the resolution and scan at 1200 dpi for an even higher quality images. Or we can scan at a higher bit depth for better color accuracy. Or we can change sharpening or any of the other settings to dial in exactly how each image will look like. But the best part is that none of our photos ever leave the premises. If we're smart about where we host our photos and how we share them, we can have our image libraries without feeding the ever-hungry AI overlords. Which option would I recommend? As a self-proclaimed techie who enjoys keeping everything in-house, I say do it yourself. It's cheaper, more secure, and gives you the ultimate level of control. If you do decide to use online scanning services, I won't judge you. After all, not everyone likes tinkering with computers or has weeks of spare time to devote to this side project. Yeah, I said weeks. Even though it just calculated 12 hours, nobody would do this work non-stop. Chances are, just like me, you're lazy and easily distracted.
Squirrel!
It'll take you months of scanning maybe a dozen photos a few evenings per week. Now if you'll excuse me, I still have a couple of albums to finish scanning. After all, it was my 2025 New Year's resolution.